We've identified a lot of things in the current landscape that are less than ideal for those of us in our 20s and 30s. But let's look at where we go from here. Guys, do we see any sort of correction coming, or maybe the government stepping in like Anthony so wants them to?
It's not, okay, first of all, we're going to fix that right now. It's not that I want them to step in. I want them to play a role in helping fix the problem. And there already has been a correction. The market has corrected overall in the country by 25%, given the rise of interest rates. So there has been a correction.
So they are doing something.
Raising interest rates did help correct the market. And if you want to say this, make it a bit more affordable than it was after February and March of 2022.
So I do have an interesting stat. Of 1,920 Canadian homeowners found that 45% of Canadians with variable rate mortgages would be able to ride out today's interest rate levels for 8.3 months before having to sell or vacate their home. So they surveyed about almost just under 2,000 people that said that. Is that, I mean, raising rates obviously has a role to play in their variable mortgage. Now they can't afford the home. So we're getting people out of it too. Well, what are your guys' like, Josh, as a realtor, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely will push some people out of the market, absolutely. But I think that also really talks to the idea of, yeah, okay, you get approved for $500,000. Don't go buy a $500,000 home. Try to find something like a decent amount below that, right? Try buying something for $425 to $450, so that you have that wiggle room where it's like, okay, my payments went up $300 a month. I was good, up another $500.
If you have the money to buy a home, maybe wait an extra year, save a little bit more money. Don't cap out your budget.
Or just be as strategic as possible, right? Like, I'm not necessarily going to tell someone, yeah, wait another year and then have the housing market go up 5%, and then it's like, okay, I couldn't save that extra, 20 to 30 grand, but you just have to be as strategic as possible.
So when we talk about impacting the trajectory of our country, I mean, the government has some role to play in it. I think we as individuals have a role to play in it. It's a little bit of 50-50. One of the things that we did explore was building houses on Crown land. Now, a lot of other countries do this. Have we seen Canada do more of this, and do we think that that's something that they could do, continue to do?
I don't think we have seen it, but that could be an option to explore.
I can't answer entirely for Crown land, but I do know that in Toronto, if you build a condo on municipal land, you have to devote a certain percentage to affordable housing.
Really?
So that's a step in the right direction. Yes, my building, 14 out of the 334 units were given to Habitat for Humanity for people to get into affordable condos.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's a step in the right direction. That's what I'm talking about government solution. I'm not saying, come on, end draconian laws. No, nobody is going to be for that. That's a realtor.
What about different lending rules? Like, do we adjust lending rules for first-time home buyers? I mean, we saw first-time home buyers tax-free savings account come into play, but from what I've heard, that's kind of BS. So do we see something else come into play a little bit to help first-time homebuyers get in?
How much more can you regulate the banks in this country? Right? I think 5% is a safe number. California, I think you can do 1%. I think that's a recipe for disaster in the country. And 5%, I think the variable mortgage stat you gave, the people who are going to be running out of money and not affording their homes anymore are the people who took a variable with 5% down. The people who put 15, 20%, I think, will survive and can weather the storm.
Carolina, for you, I mean, you're not a real estate agent. Do you own a home?
I do not.
Okay. Is it something that you're looking at in the future?
Honestly, right now, absolutely not. There's not even a plan in my head.
So what can you do, real quick, what do you think you could do now to begin planning for that? Like, what would you do?
Probably win lottery. That's the only option. Or, work for another 5 years until I get enough, a good position and make sufficient enough amount of money and pay off my student loans. And start planning from there.
There you go. I guess we can all take it upon ourselves a little bit to, move forward. I mean, Josh, you made an interesting take. Maybe wait an extra year, save a little bit of money, don't cap out your budget, right?
Yeah, because I mean,
Josh, I got to cut you off. Thanks, guys. Now, whether you believe the root of the issue is due to economic factors, the government's policies, shifts in our society, or a complex combination of issues, the current problems are ours to inherit. Now, while we can't change reality overnight, there are things we can do to be proactive, like we discussed in today's episode. Be more informed about who you vote for and how they plan to shape society. Advocate for policies that address the issue. And be strategic and intentional with your own finances. And grow your financial literacy overall. Look for ways to innovate and adapt. The current landscape obviously isn't ideal, but it's constantly changing. By choosing to stay informed and intentional, we have the opportunity to reshape things for ourselves and maybe for future generations as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back next week with another episode of My Generation. In the meantime, we want to hear from you, especially if you disagree with us. Join the conversation at My Generation on all social media platforms. And with that, we'll end off with this. Do not simply accept what you are told. Challenge your thinking, engage in differences, and listen to new perspectives.